All right, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai. All praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, okay? Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash. I'm going to say double honors to the apostles, a great millstone, all right, who rule well. Shalom and honors to all you Akim, you sincere Akim laboring in its truth. And this video is going to be a response to the brother Ahmawan Gabar, which is one of the up and coming elders in the main camp. All right. The brother had a basically response to his dream, a dream that he had, you know, response to Ahmawan's dream. And you know, it's a heavy dream. You know, we in a heavy time, man. You know, and matter of fact, hold on before I go there, because as you see the picture that he got right there, you got King Masha, right, and you got High Priest Ariah right to the side of him. Okay, and it's spiritual that the Spirit have us speaking about these men. These are men who labored in this truth. High Priest Ariah is still, as far as I know, still physically here on the earth with us. But King Masha passed away some years ago. He was old. He was elder. He was older than High Priest Ariah, but nonetheless, he passed serving the Lord in the knowledge. And the thing is, I know him, and the rest of us brothers know him and believe him to be King David, okay, King David, Joab, that spiritual 1-2 punch, if you will. Going back, we're gonna go into Zerubbabel and Joshua, you know, just like you got Moses and Joshua, you know, the different Joshua, which was the son of Nun at that time, the Ephraimite, you know, which, you know, not to go too deep into it. Well, we gonna go into reincarnation. You got to do. See, if you don't understand reincarnation, because you know that's another thing, which that's going, Lord willing, I leave for another video. This bubble-eyed blackfish, as Apostle Tar called the guy. From what I'm hearing, he said that's not biblical. Well, then you ain't gonna understand the Bible if you don't understand uh, reincarnation for many reasons. You know, like when the Lord told Solomon he was gonna be beaten with stripes. There's nowhere in the scriptures where Solomon was ever beaten with stripes. But guess who was beaten with stripes? Yahweh Shai. Okay, the scriptures say we were healed through his stripes, you see? So anyway, though, where I was going to go to Joel real quick, right? Is it the 3rd chapter, I believe? Uh, the 20, let's see, let me see if I can find it real quick. Or maybe it's Joel, the 2nd chapter. Bear with me. Bear with me real quick. Right, here we go. Slakia. Just want to, you know, read this to set the tone of this, because these days a lot of brothers are having dreams, spiritual dreams. I be having a bunch of dreams, which I normally never remember them or whatever, and I be feeling bad or whatever, you know. But you know, I can say I've been having a lot of, for the most part, they've been positive dreams with you know, the apostles, Apostle Tahar, Apostle Gabar, the other apostles, other different brothers, bishops, brothers in other states. Like I've been having, you know, and that's the spirit that a lot of brothers been having dreams, visions, and everything, because we in that time, man. But this is what the scriptures say, man. Matter of fact, see, this is the time that we coming into, man. All right, let me start at Joel 2:23. It says, "Be glad then, ye children of Zion." Zion, which means a monument. All right, to Zion in the last one, Quadash, which means a monument of the Lord. So it said, "Be glad then, ye children of Zion, and rejoice in the Lord your power." And we're rejoicing in his knowledge, man. That's why the spirits on brothers in overdrive, constantly doing videos, rebuking, exhortation, uplifting, prophetic, just all kind of videos, just, you know, through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Shai, feeding, making sure the flock is fed, right? That's us rejoicing in the Lord. When it says rejoice in the Lord, meaning in his work, your power. For he have given you the former rain moderately, and he will cause to come down for you the rain, the former rain and the latter rain in the first month, which represent the blessings that we are about to receive, which is in the kingdom of heaven. Rain is a blessing. Like a lot of times people get mad, you know, and me too, you know, being, you know, the carnal side, because maybe I might have to do work outside or whatever. Like I'm gonna have to get soaked, whatever it is. But really, rain is a blessing. You know, rain is a blessing because you need rain. For for vegetation. Rain is water from the Most High. All right. See, in the beginning, the Most High caused the dew to come from the midst, but then we know what happened and the curse that came upon the earth from Adam. So now everything has to be watered from the rain. All right. So rain is important. If you don't have no rain, you have what's called a drought, and you can't grow no crops. Okay. You can't do nothing. Okay. You can't wash up. You can't do a goddamn thing if you ain't got no water. So when it says the Most High is gonna give us the rain, the former rain, and the latter, speaking about the blessings the Most High is gonna cause to come down. It's not gonna be no more, dried up like in the state. We ain't gonna be no more dry bones of the valley. In other words, so it's saying the floor should be full of wheat, and the fat shall overflow with wine and oil. Speaking about the kingdom of heaven, all the blessings that the Most High gonna bestow upon us. And I will restore to you the years that the locusts have eaten. Yeah, when we was under the curses, man. Because being under these curses, everything we had is a loss. You know what I'm saying? Everything I ate up. If you own something, it got destroyed, cursed somehow. So the Lord said he's going to restore it, just like Job. Okay? After Job, maintained his integrity, and it'll tell you about the latter end of Job. Well, that's us. Job represents the whole house of Israel. Okay? But it says, the cankerworm, the caterpillar, the palmer worm, meaning all type of demons and plagues came upon us, man. My great army, which I sent among you. See, that's some curses, man. Which the Lord said, which my great army, which I sent among you, man. The Lord said, look, I'm gonna give it back to you now. Meaning He's gonna restore us. It said, and you shall eat in plenty and be satisfied. So this is the time we're coming in. That's why these things are happening. These spiritual dreams that brothers are having is a representation of what time that we in, man. What time is it, man? Because it's a perilous times, no doubt. But the Lord said our sorrow should be turned into joy, because we know that it's supposed to be like this, man. We know that. So now seeing these things, you got the all kind of shit happening. You got the trucker strike in Canada right now, which if that spread, that's going to tear some shit up. You got a lot of droughts in certain places, these fires, you got wars and rumors of war. And then you got the charagma that they, which is one of the main prophecies, the charagma that they keep, showing you that they coming out, which they said in February 2022. I mean, they call it different names, Neuralink and everything, but they're talking about this year of enacting that. So we're living in a time of prophecy, man. Okay? It says, and you shall eat plenty and be satisfied and praise the name of the Lord your power. So we're supposed to praise the name and not know Jesus. That's not his name, man. How many times we got to tell these fools, man? How many times we got to let them know that that's not the name? But see, they won't receive correction because they're being rebellious, man. All right? They're being very rebellious. It said, and praise the name of the Lord your power, which is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, that have dealt wondrously with you. Because, we don't, we know that we all wicked and we went off and sinned, but the Most High said of his good mercies, man, the sure mercies of David. And that's why these two men you see right here, the Most High is going to raise them up, because those are important. See, a lot of people talk shit and take shots because they don't know no fucking better. All right? Because if you knew better, you do better, as the saying goes. You had this clown. All right, I'm going to give you an example. All right, this clown, Dr. Pork, Dr. York, Raboni, whatever the fuck you want, Imam Misav, the Nuwabic nigga, all right, that's underneath the prison system. They got that nigga, and they made Shambhala for that nigga. That nigga was teaching Shambhala was a place in the middle of the earth core, Well, now that nigga is there. Now he got firsthand experience. They put him under the jail. He doing, 500, 700 years or whatever for all these molestation cases. Well, back in his glory day, all right, and a lot of these, which, Polite, that's his godson, okay? That's his daddy, okay? That's why he do the works that he do. He's following in the footsteps of his father. But he made a stupid book, which was whack as fuck. And I'm not just saying it. Even if I wasn't in the truth, I'd be like, what, But he made a book called 360 Questions to Ask a Hebrew Israelite, which was whack. But what he did, he was trying to make mockery of King Masha and High Priest Ariyah in that book with cowboy hats on. Say, oh, why you got cowboy hats on? Nigga, the Cowboys was Israelites. A lot of the Cowboys is a thing called the Black Cowboys, man. All right, you gotta understand that we got a rich history, man. You see, but nonetheless, look what happened to the nigga, man. He was sitting there making. So I'm telling you that these are not regular men. All right, and I'm gonna go into the scriptures further because, like, the brother had a dream, and the full name of the video of the dream that the brother had. Actually, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. See, my dream last night, we were preparing a major feast-like event for High Priest Ariah. See, and that's heavy, man. That's a dream the brother had, and I'm gonna play the video, and pretty much, you know, it made me think of going back when we had the grand opening of this Connecticut school. Cause remember, we always tell you that Connecticut was the last school that was added to the to One West. You know, before the split happened. The split happened probably maybe, I don't know, 3-4 years later or whatever. But when we had the grand opening, right, these two men came. King Masha and High Priest Ariah. Spirit got on Apostle Tahar to get them down there. And brother, that was the food, like the angels was made that food, man. The food, everything, it was a certain calmness and peace of both spirit that was there. You know, there was demons there, but that night was, brother, and you know, and really a lot of the night, the councils or the Passovers, when you see King Masha and High Priest Ariah, High Priest Elder Yaiquab, the different events that used to have back then, they'd be heavy and spiritual. But this, when he was speaking out of this, it reminded me of the grand opening. And it was spiritual that these two men came down here of the top 7, because they all were invited. Apostle Tahar invited them all, but only King Masha and High Priest Ariah came. But it was the Spirit of the Lord. So he said, my dream last night, we were preparing a major feast-like event for High Priest Ariah. Because, and he said some stuff in his video. All right? Well, I'm going to play the video, man. Before I don't end up playing it. I want to play it, though. So I'm going to play it. Salaki, brothers. Our first time. It was our first time, and it was just beautiful, man. I can't explain it any more further than that. Yeah. So anyway, what he was talking about was his first Passover that he been to in 2009, and everybody, I could relate to the feeling. You know, I never ever in my life, even still to this day, especially my first Passover. You know, and then through the spirit of Yahweh Shemiah Shai, Barakatah Yahweh Shemiah Shai, even though, of course, we hasten in the day, we want to get the fuck up out of here, but I gotta say, just about every Passover got better and deeper, and just, you know what I'm saying, really just cemented what this truth is about, and the seriousness, the severity, you know. But, you know, you brothers can all recall when you first coming in Israel, the Passover, and the ceremony, the service, the prayers, Akim, man, brother, that's a high. So he said he had in his dream, it was like we were preparing a welcome back. So that's heavy. It felt like it was that type of event. It was none but love, you know, and brotherly love, and you know, type of event. The apostle, and I'm talking about the dream. The Apostle Tahar was like, all right, brothers, get this ready, get that ready. You know, set up that table. You know, do this, do that. See, that's heavy. So that's why I went to that video. To the scripture, right? Where it said, the Most High have dealt wondrously with you, and my people shall never be ashamed. And you shall know that I am in the midst of Israel. See, the Lord is letting us know he's in the midst of us. And everybody's going to know, you see. And that I am the Lord, your power, Yahweh Shemiah Shai, and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. This scripture is being fulfilled heavily. It came to pass back then, but even more so now that we're at the end of everything, man, the end of this whole bullshit, man. All right, we're in the end of the last days. So it said, your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. Your young men shall see visions. So that's what these brothers are seeing, man. All right, the apostles, different elders are having dreams. You talk to certain apostles and elders, they be having dreams. Of course, there's some, you know, some of them be satanic. You know, the scriptures tell you dreams come in a multitude of a business, right? So, you know, but you know how to, if you spiritual, you know how to discern, nah, that was a dream from the Most High. Because why? It ties in with the scriptures. Simple, you know? And now say you had the same dream and another brother had the same dream. Okay, who controls man's dream? The Most High, right? Doesn't it tell you that in Job? When men are asleep, the Most High sealeth their instructions. You see? So it says, and also upon the servants and upon the handmaids, in those days will I pour out my spirit. So the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Shai, is pouring the spirit out. You see? That's what's happening because of the time that we're in. And see, and that's why the brother speaking about this dream, he's saying how in this dream he was, which is prophetic though. Get this ready, get that ready, set up that table, do this, do that. So we was preparing because we knew High Priest Ariah was coming. We knew he was coming, so we was getting ready. It was a feeling of joy and excitement. All right, like we were preparing a feast. That's heavy, man. That's heavy. And again, this video inspired me to do this video. Of course, that's why I called it a response to the brother's dream, which I'm pretty much just echoing some of the things he said and other scriptures that come to mind. But he brought up the point, which was a council going back. This is because when we got kicked out of the house of David, we were the Connecticut camp at that time. This is way before the GMS and everything. It's when we had, the Elder Apostle Tahar, Elder Apostle Gabar, Elder Apostle Rakai, and the rest of the apostles and bishops. We were in the Connecticut camp coming down. Actually we were still teaching in Connecticut, I think, in those times, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Then eventually we went back to New York. But anyway, whatever the case was, this was the council, the three councils that stemmed from the Cornelius thing, or the Cornelius issue. That's what started these councils. And we keep in the apostles, and we keep mentioning these councils because, brother, and it's crazy because when you're in the middle of something while history's happening, so to speak, while you in the present, you don't realize when a whole lot of things, you locked in the spirit of what's going on. But now hindsight, being able to look back at it, I can see why that a lot of times you might not, but you can't help the brothers that was there. We can't help but speak about that because that was a very heavy spiritual event in history, just like you might hear about, I'll say it Trump said, but they still speak about the Council of Trent, brothers that remember that, the Council of Nicaea, when they, they wickedly started coming up with all these different false heresies, and they were trying to doubt the divinity of Yahweh Shai back then, you see. Well, this was on one of those things that it's going to be remembered for ages because the issue was a scriptural issue, which the scriptures speak about, rightly dividing the word of truth, which the Spirit was on the apostles to do so about Cornelius because, the Most High was revealing, because he got, obviously, the Most High wasn't with that, Cornelius being an Edomite, but everything is for its time. So it was time for that lie or whatever to be broken down, and the Lord revealed it to the apostles that Cornelius was an Israelite, which is now an easy thing to get, but back then, pretty much they wanted your head if you said it. Cornelius was an Israelite, he'd be ready to kill you. And that's what it was at these councils, man. These councils, and then there was a few other breakdowns and everything about the Israelite foreigners and stuff like that, the quote-unquote so-called, which we wasn't really, we just was going into the words and the scriptures, the so-called rape doctrine. They try to pull all that stuff in there, and we was ready to defend it, but they didn't want to deal with the truth or the facts. So it was a back and forth. And then what they were doing, they were shitting on, because this is after they had left, which Apostle Star said it was Nate and the mother niggas that got in King Masha's ear to tell him, said, look, they said, Mo, you need, which was King Masha, what they called him, that the ones that was close to him, said, look, we need to go do our own thing, this, that, and the third. And they got in his ear because there was a lot of shit happening in One West. There was a lot of different, the school was being infiltrated at that time, That's when they came up with the 12 King doctrine and a bunch of other, don't say Yahweh, say Christ and all, But that was then. And see, these things got to happen. All right? These things got to happen. And then at the council, though, you had a lot of these guys that had this hate, just like you got a few guys now, had this ultimate, like this fucking hate. And I didn't understand, like, how the fuck you, first of all right, going back from when I came in, all right, everybody was watching High Priest Ariah videos, man, the breakdowns, the 12 tribes, they received that information. We all
started teaching the 12 tribes and you know, all the scriptures, how Ariah was teaching them. High priest Ariah, that is, all right? And King Masha, he was teaching. High priest Elder Yaqua was teaching. You know, and the other men were teaching too. Okay, and of course, Apostle Tahar was teaching. You know, he was one of the top men too, underneath the elders back then, with Apostle Gabar and Apostle Cobb with him. So when we came in, we all were teaching. So okay, we left from One West. Then these dudes act like they never even knew the man. Like he was just a nigga in the street. You had, you know, dudes talking shit. The dude from Boston. You know, not to go too much into it, but the nigga talk about he was gonna kick Ariad's head. He's saying a whole lot, and niggas gonna have to answer for certain things, man. See, there's a thing of knowing your lane. The scriptures say, "Make not thyself equal with great men." You know, there's certain shit that's above your pay grade, man. All right, it's just what it is. There's certain things that are above your pay grade. There's certain things that you shut the fuck up and mind your business before you end up sinning with your tongue, speaking on things you don't know about. Because this is the Most High's program, man. And he does what he want to do. All right? But now King Masha heard all that chitter-chat and all that, right? Because they were trying to get King Masha out to meet the council. Like, oh, no, it's late. But he said, nah, I want to go here. I want to be here. I ain't going home. All right? They was trying to dismiss the young man. He said, nah, let them be it, you know? It was a heavy-ass council. And then as they talking all this stuff about High Priest Ariah, that's when King Masha busted out and it got quiet. He said, y'all better watch your mouth, man. It speaks about him in the 3rd book or in the 3rd chapter. Now, we all knew, like you heard the story, the apostles tell it or whatever. You know, we knew exactly what King Masha was saying. And there I say, we probably were the only ones that understood that. Because the Spirit of the Lord, we was going through it back in the school where we was at, and then we was asking Apostle Tahar about it, and then he went into it with us and broke it down, you see? So that's what this brother is speaking about. So now, and he goes into it, and I'm about to go in, I'm going to read the scripture too, just to, since I'm speaking on it. All right, that's in the book of Zechariah. See, they didn't know King Masha was talking about Zechariah, the 3rd chapter. All right? So now, we gonna go into this. This is Zechariah chapter 3, verse 1. And he showed me Joshua, the high priest, standing before the angel of the Lord. Now, this is going back during the time of Zerubbabel. Slakia. You also had Joshua, the high priest, which, you know, okay, was a Levite, of course. And it said, standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. So right there, that shows you that there's a battle going on, man. Just like with Job, okay, just like the Lord told Peter, man, that he had to pray for him because, you know, because Satan had desired him, man, you know, because why? Of who he was. When you're in, see, that's why people want to be in these positions, man, and you don't realize what comes with it, man, you know. You don't really, like, what's the saying? Heavy is the head and heavy is the crown and he who wears it. Because the more power or what do you want to call it, status, rank or whatever, then it's the more problems, the more issues you have to deal with. And you know, and you got to deal with Satan, okay? And if you ain't of a strong mind, Satan's going to overtake you. So anyway, it said, and he showed me Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. Okay? And we knew that this was speaking about high priest Ariah. So that's why this dream that the brothers had is pretty heavy. Because at some point, because this hasn't been fulfilled. See, a lot of people talk about there's no reincarnation. Well, show me when this actually happened then. You see? But it didn't happen. We're living in this part now. All right? It said, and the Lord said unto Satan, the Lord rebuked thee, O Satan. Even the Lord that chosen Jerusalem rebuked thee. Is not this a brand plucked out of the fire? Speaking about Joshua, which we knew that to be high priest Ariah. So when he went off, when he was in, and really, like the apostle Tahar said, they coached King Masha into leaving One West at the time. All right, but high priest Ariah, all right, he started getting caught up. He said the God sent comforters here. Probably got paid off or whatever. But guess what? It said, blessed is the man who the Lord imputeth not iniquity, man. Then it says in Romans, who should lay anything to the charge of the Most High's elect? If you a man of the Lord, you're going to be a man of the Lord, man. No matter what. I mean, the Most High might have to bust your ass. You might have to go through, some hell. All right. But you're going to be delivered. You a man of the Lord. So, but now we know that this Joshua, which is High Priest Ariah, who we believe through the Spirit, all right, the Spirit revealed that to us. And we know that somebody got to be, just like King David, somebody got to be these guys. All right. All right. So, again, it said, and the Lord said unto Satan, the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai rebuke thee, O Satan, even the Lord that hath chosen Jerusalem rebuke thee. Is not this a brand plucked out of the fire? Now Joshua was clothed with filthy garments and stood before the angel. So this is the high priest. All right. So if he had filthy garments, and the garments, it tell you in Revelation that the garments represent the knowledge. Okay. Matter of fact, let me see if I can grab that one real quick. I mean, there's a couple places. Let me see. Right. Here we go. Revelation 16 and 15. It said, behold, I come as a thief. This is Yahweh Shai speaking. Blessed is he that watcheth. All right. Yeah. Meaning what? Watcheth the prophecy. So what's happening? We're reading the prophecy about Joshua right now because see, there's a lot of things like this truth is deep, man. It's a lot of different levels in this truth, man, and understanding. Okay, and the point that Apostle Tahar brings out, which is true, because the Most High got everything in its time. Okay, one prophecy ain't gonna jump over the other prophecy. Okay, like he always speaks about the chip, all right, the charagma or whatever. They're gonna clip the video. They're gonna clip it. But like he says, World War III ain't gonna happen. The missiles ain't gonna come without the charagma coming first. There's things that have to happen in succession, but there's prophecies. Even though most of the prophecies, yes, we at the end, we ain't got to wait, to go back into slavery and none of that shit. But this is a prophecy that hasn't happened yet about the filthy garments being removed. But now I'm just going here just to further prove that the garments, because a lot of people might say, oh, they think it's like a white garment that's some mud splat. No, it means the knowledge. Because why? High Priest Ariah, the knowledge, and the Lord gave him a great amount of knowledge. And seeing through the Spirit, everything is a thing of humility too, because not that High Priest Ariah did it, but the scriptures tell you that knowledge puffeth up, man. Right? High Priest Ariah, and he was from when I met him, one of the humble men, him, King Masha. But the thing was, he was exalted to the level of a god at one point. All right, and then brothers that were around back then, they remember that. He was humble as hell, right? But back then, it almost became Ariah was his word was law and not the scriptures. Okay, so that's why the Most High the scriptures say great men are not always wise. All right, but pretty much like if somebody says something, they won't be like, well, that's what the scriptures say. They'll say that's what High Priest Ariah said. All right, and that man worship on that level. And remember, the Most High is a jealous power still. So that's why the Most High do certain things, man. Eventually, and everything is for his time, man. The Most High, he said, my thoughts are not your thoughts, man. All right, but now it said, behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked, meaning what? Without this knowledge. All right? Here it is, you come into this truth, and then you go back in the world and you sinning. Now you naked. You ain't got no cloak to cover up your sins. So at least he walk naked, and they see his shame. All right, and then let me see something real quick. It's another one. I think it's the righteousness of the saints. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Matter of fact, hold on, let me type it in. That's a good one, but it's another one I was looking for. I believe it says the righteousness of the saints. Just bear with me. Papa Shah. Okay, what? Yeah, I read right past it. Okay. Must have. But anyway, there it goes. Revelations chapter 19, verse 8. It says, and to her was granted, which is speaking about Israel, that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white. For the fine linen, which is what? The garments, right? The fine linen is the righteousness of the saints.
All right. So
when you go back to okay, yeah. When you go back to Zechariah, so now verse 3, when it says, now Joshua was clothed with filthy garments and stood before the angel, you know that that's talking about the knowledge. But the filthy garments meaning what? The filthy knowledge. That's when you had High Priest Ariah talking about, the 12 kings, discomforter, that's comfy and all that stuff, right? So we understood. See, and the thing that's been coming out a lot lately from the apostles is in this truth, which is true, you can't get emotional because a lot of people got messed up over that. All right. And that's how they faith got shipwrecked. When King Mashah passed, a lot of dudes bugged out over that. You see? And not knowing that you're supposed to stick to the script. Whatever happens, you got to stick to the script. So when these things happen, we understood because of what? The elders, man, the apostles, man. Apostle Tar, the Spirit had them prepare us for these things. So when it actually happened, maybe we might have felt bad because, we loved being around those men, but we understood that. Okay, but at the end of the day, we got work to do. And that's what we continue to do. So verse 4 said, and he answered and spake unto those that stood before him, saying, take away the filthy garments from him. You see? So it's going to come a point where the Spirit of the Lord is going to take, which for all we know, that could be happening right now. Because it's clearly evident that comfy was not the comforter. That nigga had dudes thinking that he's going to raise one of his brothers from the dead, some guy that he had ripped off. And he said, don't worry, I'm going to raise your brother from the dead. Now Comfy needs somebody to raise his ass from the dead. And if you do get raised from the dead, it ain't going to be for a chair. It's going to be the taste of those missiles, man. You see? Because that's a filthy ass nigga, man. But this was Joshua. So what did this actually mean? This is meant in the time that we're in now, right? Because reincarnation is in the Bible. The Lord said he was in the last days, he's going to raise up these holy men, Zerubbabel, and which everything, like in 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, it tells you Yahweh Shai first, then the first fruits, every man after his order. So that's how we're able to, not that it's a thing to be going crazy over, but we know that, okay, when you go to different periods of time, during the time of Egypt, the Lord raised up Moses and Aaron, his brother, and then Joshua, right, and the judges. So that's how we know that, okay, those are going to be the prophets. There's going to be King David, the house of David. All right, everybody comes back in a lot. Peter. So the head guy is always the head guy. Underneath Yahweh Shai, of course. Moses, David, Zerubbabel, Peter. And not that you got to go sit there, but just to give you an example of how reincarnation, if you don't understand reincarnation, you can't break this down. You can't break a lot of scriptures down without understanding about reincarnation, how everything is a cycle. Ecclesiastes 12:7, your flesh returns to the earth and your spirit goes back to the Most High. So it's time for you to come back down on this earth. So it says, and unto him he said, behold, I have caused thine iniquity to pass from thee, and I will clothe thee with the change of raiment, which is what? The fine linen, which is the righteousness of the saints, is truth. So it may be a time, we're coming around. Actually, it's Purim next week. Then what comes after Purim? The Passover. So who knows? The Spirit might have Apostle Tahar, one of the apostles, running the High Priest Ariah, and he could be watching Apostle Tahar's video through the Spirit. The Spirit of the Lord got him watching the apostles' videos, and he's just whatever he need to catch up on because he's a spiritual man. High Priest Ariah was always spiritual. When Apostle Tahar said that one time, he said High Priest Ariah told him, he said, you a spiritual man. He said, you know how I know? He said, because I'm spiritual. Right? And then I think he might have quoted 1 Corinthians 14:37, I think, to the apostle. But like I always said, I remember seeing them together. And I remember one time, in the Spirit, because I'm just like a sponge. I'm a babe in this thing, just happy to be there, like we all are, right? And I'm just I seen Apostle Tahar and High Priest Ariah drift off to the side. And like hell, like I said, man, I just know that's one of the most spiritualist conversation. They might have just been talking about their family, but I don't think they was. I think they was talking about some deep heavenly stuff. But I said, nah, but they had an aura, and I ain't just, I wasn't jaded or I'm just calling it how I seen it. They had an actual aura around them. The camp, like, it was a feast day. We was at Bear Mountain or one of them places, and he just drifted to the side, was talking for like about a minute, you know. So there was a connection. So I believe that report. I know that to be true. You see. So like I said, the spirit of the Lord will catch High Priest Ariel up to, you know, it ain't a big, see, a lot of people got emotional because the fact that he went off. Okay, and again, that goes into what they call the prodigal son. All right, when you go to Luke, I'm gonna come back to that, Lord willing. Luke the 15th chapter. Um, okay, Luke 15. Uh, I'll start. I'll start at 4 and just read down. It said, "What man of you having 100 sheep, if he lose one of them, doth not leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after that which is lost until he find it?" See, that's the good shepherd. It said, "And when he have found it, he layeth it on his shoulders." Right? To be a shepherd, you can't be, man, imagine picking up a sheep under you, put it up on your shoulders. Can't be no wussy doing no shit like that. It said, rejoicing, happy, you're gonna be happy as hell. So, and I pray, you know, but the Lord knows, right? But what I'm saying is what's heavy about the dream that Ahmawan had, because as we're reading in Zechariah, it is gonna come a point, okay, and who we believe as Joshua. If you don't believe, that's on you. All right. I'm not gonna force nobody or whatever, you know, and I'm not saying you gotta per se believe it. If you don't believe that, hey, then the spirit ain't revealed it to you. You know, I wouldn't, if I didn't believe it, I wouldn't be speaking on it. You know what I'm saying? Not just because a brother said, nah, I believe it because of what the scriptures say, and I know that these men are back, and I know that those are not just ordinary men. All right, from Abba Bivens, King Masha, High Priest Ariah, High Priest Elder Yaikwab, hell, even High Priest Shah. Okay, the apostles, the elders, you Akim out there, y'all not regular. I know that. You know what I'm saying? I don't need nobody to tell me that. I know that, man. I pray to the Lord I make it with you brothers, man. You see? You know, fuck all the bullshit. But this is what Yahweh Shai was speaking about. He said, "And when he cometh home, he calleth together his friends and his neighbors, saying unto them, rejoice with me." And even though High Priest Ariah is one of the top men, when the Lord bring him back into the fold, that's going to be a beautiful thing. And I'll say this, even Nate, you know, which time will reveal, because I remember that dream too. That was another dream, and this was right before the split. And the way it happened was deep because Apostle Tahar told us about it before they kicked us out. All right, because Nate was cool. He was an understudy underneath Apostle Tahar, even though he don't like to admit it or whatever. But you know, he kind of had a cool. You know, some of them cats was kind of cool and shit. You know what I'm saying? Even though cool don't cut it. Okay, cool don't cut it. But nonetheless, he told Apostle Tahar the dream, as Apostle Tahar revealed it to us. He said he had a dream that a bowl of oil, and I still remember it after all these years, right? I wonder if he remembers it, but he told the apostle that a bowl of oil was on his head, and then he had lost the bowl of oil, right? And he said, but at the end of the dream, before he woke up or whatever, he said he received the bowl of oil, pardon me. All right, the bowl of oil. So that was heavy. And then Pastor said he understood. He said, yeah. He said, okay, the oil represent the knowledge, right? He's breaking it down. He says, okay, he's going to go off, but he's going to come back in the end. All right. So now, before we get up out of here, it's, you know, even though it's been a lot of back and forth, because it's not personal. Even though we're passionate and we get angry, you know, as we should, you know, and some dudes are just wicked, demonic niggas, man. But there's other men in the spirit you could see, like if the Most High, this is the Lord's program. And then that dream was spiritual. So whether he gets the bowl back on this side of the things or the next, whatever, when he come back into the fold, it's going to be a rejoice. We ain't going to sit there and say, man, look, you know, because at the end of the day, this is the Lord's will, man. It's about the elect. You know, we're just hoping that we're part of it. But at the end of the day, we're going to call bullshit out, though. You see? So we'll see what happens. We'll see if the spirit, you know, works on Nate. A lot of times, see, that's when the Lord, Psalms 110:3, the Lord said, in the day of thy power, thy people should be willing. See, when Jake catch hell, that's when they start reflecting on themselves. Most times, some Jakes are just straight up demons and niggas, but for the most part, like that's why niggas get religious when they go to jail, you know? They're going to jail a nigga come out a Muslim, a 5% or whatever, most of the time. Then back to being even a bigger nigga. All right. But anyway, it said when he had found it, he layeth it on his shoulders, rejoicing. And when he cometh home, he calls together his friends and neighbors, saying unto them, rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep which was lost. So imagine they turn back around and start calling out the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Shalom Akim, look, the mark of the beast, whatever. Let's go into it. Because, and it's not far-fetched, because check this out. Check this out. When the Cornelius thing came, going back to the council, the Cornelius council, right? And it was crazy because, again, that day, and the apostles and elders attest to it, Nate had on all black, okay? And the pastor always spoke about all black because witches, that's a thing in witchcraft. And it's true, it gives you a negative vibe. You said, look, if niggas go to do some dirt or whatever, they put on all black. Go to a funeral all black, right? It's a reason behind that. But anyway, that day he had on a black Raiders jersey. I don't know if it said 99, if I'm not mistaken. You know, I don't know if that was worn, but he had a black jersey, a black on black football NFL jersey, a black jeans, probably black shoes. You know, he had the ponytail back then, jet black. He had jet black hair back then, dark. Like everything was just dark. And I never seen him and like that before, like acting like a straight up demon. He was acting like Satan that night, man. Over the Cornelius issue, but it went deeper. It was other issues too, which Apostle Tahar was breaking down to us that was going, they wanted to get rid of Apostle Tahar because he was always, basically exposing shit that they was doing, cursing brothers out. Same thing that he does now. And they, they had agendas a lot. Him, your asshole, your Asha, and the other guys, Rahab. So, but anyway, the thing was about the Cornelius thing. And seeing and show you the humility that Apostle Tahar and the rest of us had, right? Because we was following Apostle Tahar. He was the leader, still is, right? So he said, look, for argument's sake, he said, look, we won't even teach it. And that wasn't good enough for him, right? Because they were saying we were teaching a heresy about Cornelius because they didn't see, although after the Spirit got on Apostle Gabar to break it down, they did see it, but then the next week they started fronting and flaking, and so the Apostle said that, and then that's when the dude, he said, yeah, but is it still in your mind? And then so Apostle Tahar said this, he said, look, we'll just cast a lot if what we're saying is right or not. And then Nate went crazy. He jumped up and down. That's evil, Tahar. That's evil, Tahar. And you know it. That's evil. He was jumping up in the air, all blacked out. And I'm looking at him like, oh, shit. A few people looking at him like, oh, shit, this nigga lost his mind. But that's because he lost the bowl with the oil in it. Because had he not did that, he would have agreed because the scriptures say the casting of the lot causes the contention to cease. You see? But he didn't, according to his dream, he definitely lost the bowl of oil. But then, now check this out. This is the point, though. So after they kicked us out over the Cornelius thing, then they had their splits and they went off, did other crazy bullshit. Then he first started back out again with the IUIC when he first started and reconvened, I guess, in his basement or wherever. He did it. He did a show about Cornelius. He had an icon of Cornelius being a Jake. And he ain't coming to Pastor, say, look, man, y'all right, and look, y'all, I like to apologize. He ain't say none of all that. Maybe down the line he might have said it I never heard it though. You know what I'm saying? But showing you though, the Lord brought him around to about Cornelius being an Israelite when he was staunchly against it. A demon was on him. He was saying that what the apostle was saying was wicked and evil. But then he turned around and now they teach that Cornelius is an Israelite. So just saying, as far as that go. But now let me read on. It says, I say unto you that likewise joy shall be in heaven over one sinner that repenteth more than over 99 just persons which need no repentance. And at the end of the day, Yahweh Shai said he came to what? To heal the sick. He that is whole needeth not a physician. So that's why the Most High put us all in positions to where, one, it humbles you because it's easy to get proud, get lifted up. Hey, every man probably had their moments where they might have, like even Moses. And Moses is one of the men. All right, but the Most High do things to hide pride from men. Because even Moses eventually got as great as he is and shall be, he got beside himself, man. You know, he thought that he was, he forgot to give the credit to the Most High. So that's why you got to watch yourself, man, carefully, man. All right? Because the Most High didn't allow, he said, only with your eyes you're going to see the promised land back then. All right? So this thing is deep, man. So it says, either what woman having 10 pieces of silver, if she see how I know about these women, he tell you about these women, boy. Because these women always was in. They always liked the shiny things, man. They like that money, that dough, that loot. You know. So either what woman having 10 pieces of silver, if she lose one piece, doth not light a candle and sweep the house, seek diligently till she find it, right? Which I mean, Jake's probably do, but women definitely, they're gonna try to find any money. They ain't trying to take no L's or, even though it's just here it is, she got 9 other pieces, but she's like, nah, fuck that. I'm supposed to have 10 pieces. So it said, and when she had found it, she called her friends and her neighbors together, saying, rejoice with me. It's a celebration. Come on, it's a party. It's a party. We're going, right? I found the piece which I have lost. She might have thought somebody stole it. She might, so when you find, how it is, if something that you like, you find it, you happy as hell, man. Imagine you lose, say you lose $10,000 and you end up finding it. Man, you're going to be happy as hell, man. You're going to spend probably half of it just being so happy that you found it. Likewise, I say unto you, there is joy in the presence of the angels of the Most High over one sinner that repenteth. And he said, a certain man had 2 sons. And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And you're going to have brothers that this fall into, man. That here it is, they for Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, but they went off, man. They went all the way off, man. But so how's the Most High gonna be able to bestow mercy unless a brother got to be in a position where he needs mercy? All right. And the Most High, at the end of the day, he decide who has mercy. What's that in Romans, right? He said, I'll have mercy on whom I'll have mercy upon. You see? And obviously he ain't have mercy on these fucking crackers, man. They got to pay, man. Which is another show, another topic. But it said, and not many days after, the young son gathered all together and took his journey to a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into the fields to feed swine. So, which is a hell of a position to be in, man. So he's contemplating. He fucked up. Like High Priest Ariah, shit. If I wouldn't sit there and try to browbeat him or nothing like that, because really the scriptures say who resisted the will of the Most High. There's a reason why he went off. The Most High wanted him to go off, man. And again, so brothers wouldn't be into worshiping man and not worshiping Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. It was a lot of lessons learned with that whole situation, man. All right. But that doesn't mean that the Most High can't bring him back into the fold. And especially if he's one of those men. And, like the Apostle Paul said, how's the Most High going to give a man this amount of knowledge and like priceless knowledge, wisdom, and understanding? We already know how great and precious a man Abba Bivens was. Then you got King Masha, High Priest Ariah. So the Most High going to give them all of this knowledge and they just some wicked niggas? Nah, it's not. It don't work that way, man. All right, the Most High would have never entrusted him with the wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the prophecies and the breakdowns of World War I and II. And a lot of those go back to High Priest Ariah, and some of them even go all the way back to Abba Bivens. All right, but then the Spirit of the Lord added on even more with the apostles, Apostle Tahar, and Apostle Gabar, the rest of the apostles on down. It says, and when Slakia, and when he would have fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat, and no man gave it to him. And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough to spare, and I perish with hunger? He's like, damn, I'm all y'all fucked up. And that's why we send up prayers too for High Priest Ariah, because we know that he's going through what he's going through. And it's going to be a celebration when the Most High brings him back to the fold, especially when the Lord raises up King Masha, Okay, which we're gonna go into the two witnesses and everything, and but King Mashan, High Priest Ariab, man, bro, the spirit that when they together, man, thunder and lightning, man. You know, it's nothing like it, man. It says, I will arise and go to my father and say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee. You know, so if a man repents, which I know that High Priest are going to repent if he hasn't already to the Father, okay? Am in no worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. And he arose and came to his father, but when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight. I'm no more worthy to be called thy son. But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet. Okay, dig it. It said, and bring hither the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they began to be merry. See? So this is deep, man. This is deep. It's to show you the compassion and the mercy of the Most High, man. All right? That's what the whole thing with Joshua, High Priest Joshua, and that's showing you the compassion and the mercies of the Most High, the sure mercies of David, just like he gave to his other servant, King David, which we know to be King Masha. It said, now his eldest son was in the field, and as he came and drew nigh to the house, he heard music and dancing, and he called one of the servants and said, what these things mean? And he said unto him, thy brother is come, and their father hath killed the fatted calf, because he hath received him safe and sound. And he was angry and would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him. And he answered and said to his father, lo, these many years do I serve thee, neither transgress I at any time thy commandment, and yet thou never gavest me a kid that I might make merry with my friends. But as soon as this thy son was come, which hath devoured thy living with harlots, thou hast killed for him the fatted calf. And he said unto him, Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. It was meet that we should make merry and be glad for thy brother was dead and is alive again, and was lost and is found. All right, so that's in a nutshell how it's going to be going back with Joshua. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it. I mean, forgive me. I went all around the world with it. I thought this was gonna be like a 20-minute show, but it's all in the spirit. I pray that it's edifying. But I'm gonna read on. It says, and I said, let them set a fair mitre upon his head. So they set a fair mitre upon his head. All right, which what? That's what the high priest wore. Fair meaning righteous. Speaking about, again, going into the knowledge. And clothed them with garments. And the angel of the Lord stood by. And the angel of the Lord protested unto Joshua, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, if thou wilt walk in my ways, and if thou wilt keep my charge, then thou shalt also judge my house, and shalt also keep my courts. And I will give thee places to walk among these that stand by. Again, like King David said, blessed is the man whom the Lord imputeth not iniquity. It says, Hear now, O Joshua the high priest, thou and thy fellows that sit before thee, for they are men wondered at. See, that's the prophets, man. Okay, the apostles, man. Men wondered at, man. All right, thy fellows, showing you that. So this is what the brother was dreaming. Hear now, O Joshua the high priest, thou and thy fellows that sit before thee. This is at a table, okay? Like the brother said, that feast that we were preparing for High Priest Ariah. For they are men wondered at. For behold, I will bring forth my servant the branch. Who's that speaking about? Who's that? Isaiah? That's speaking about Yahweh Shai, man. All right, so we're in the time where Yahweh Shai is about to come. For behold, the stone that I have laid before Joshua, upon one stone shall be 7 eyes. Behold, I will engrave the graving thereof, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will remove the iniquity of the land in that day. In one day, pardon me. Yeah, when Yahweh Shai come back, man. And the 7 eyes going into what? The 7 archangels. All right. It says, in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, shall you call every man his neighbor under the vine and under the fig tree. Meaning what? All the rest of the men of the Lord. So I'm not saying that that's about to happen next week, but that's heavy because per se, if that doesn't even happen into the kingdom, that means that we're just that much more closer. You understand? So that's heavy, man. And then, it goes on into the 4th chapter, right? Lord, well, I'm gonna read a little bit of it. I'm getting ready to wrap it up. It says, and the angel that talked with me came again and waked me as a man that is wakened out of his sleep, and said unto me, what seest thou? And I said, I have looked, and behold, a candlestick all of gold, with the bowl upon the top of it, and his 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps which are upon the top of the top thereof. And remember, 7 is a what? A spiritual number. Basically, that was a 777 right there. Okay? That was a 777. All right? It said, a bowl upon the top of it, and his 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps which are upon the top thereof, and 2 olive trees by it, one upon the right side of the bowl, and the other upon the left side thereof. So those 2 primary characters, man, all right, Zerubbabel and Joshua, all right, King David and Joab, pardon me, Moses and Joshua, all right. So then also too, going into the Israel, all of Israel, which is the kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Ephraim, all right. Those are, which, it's twofold, but I'm just speaking about right now these great men, because the Spirit been having this conversation come up a lot, and brothers are having all kind of dreams, and everything is, the synergy is just off the chain through the Spirit. Like everybody's just connecting thoughts with dreams, and everybody having the same thought on the same page. So that's why I'm going into it like this through the Spirit. It says, so I answered and spake to the angel that talked with me, saying, what are these, my Lord? Then the angel that talked with me answered and said unto me, knowest thou not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, this is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel, saying, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord of hosts. Meaning the Lord is going to put his spirit on Zerubbabel, man. All right? And if I'm not mistaken, Zerubbabel means what? The griever of Babylon? Let's see if I can pull that up real quick. If I remember. Or destroyer. Let's see. Let's see what they got here.
Strong's H2216. Zerubbabel.
Zerubbabel, right? Zerubbabel, right? Here we go. Sown in Babylon. Grandson, yeah, you know that. I think he used to be in the back of the red Bibles, where they used to have the Bible, the meaning of names or whatever. But okay, so they put here, which I believe Zechariah is seed, so Zechariah, maybe it's a different formation of the word Zechariah. It says sown, so maybe it's in the verb, the tense of a verb. It says sown in Babylon, right? So, but there's another part where it said griever of Babylon, but all right. Well, let's move on. That's neither here nor there. So then he answered and spake unto me, saying, this is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel, saying, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, say the Lord of hosts. So the Most High, Yahweh Shem Shai, is going to give men spiritual power. This is the proof of it. The next verse. Who art thou, O great mountain? Okay, the great mountain is what? Is Babylon. Okay, Babylon the Great, which is America. This ain't talking about a straight up actual mountain, Mount Everest or nothing like that. No, that's speaking about America, man. It said, who art thou, O great mountain? Before Zerubbabel, thou shalt become a plain. Okay? Meaning he's gonna level you, you're gonna be destroyed. And he shall bring forth the headstone thereof with shouting, crying grace unto it. You see? Because although you got Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, but they got heads that they set up. And it's always, this order has been since the beginning of time, man. You see? Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, the hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house. And the house is speaking about what? The house of Israel, right? Which, I mean, they actually built the house. All right, let me not get too far, but I'm just going into the house, the spiritual house. All right, so Salaki, I'm not trying to, throw nobody off. But it said his hands shall also finish it. See, I'm going into the spirit of it now, because why? Again, how does this apply now? Because remember, the thing with Joshua, that hadn't happened yet. So spiritually, meaning Zerubbabel had to come back in the reincarnation. Okay? It said, and thou shalt know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me unto you. It says, for who have despised the day of small things? For they shall rejoice and shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel, which is an instrument to measure that they use for measuring, almost like a tape measure. In the hand of Zerubbabel with those seven, they are the eyes of the Lord, which run to and fro through the whole earth, which is what? The archangels of the Lord, the seven angels. It says, Then answered I and said unto him, what are these two olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick and upon the left side thereof? And I answered again, and he said unto him, what be these two olive branches which through the two golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves? So those were two of the, because Abba Bivens kicked things off, but he set up King Masha, High Priest Ariah, and High Priest Elder Yaikwab. And then primarily, not taking none from High Priest Elder Yaikwab, but just dealing with Zerubbabel and Joshua, that would have to be King Masha and High Priest Ariah. Because if you go back and see most of the teaching, right, even before the Apostle Tar came in, those were the main men out there. I mean, High Priest Yaikwab as well. Then you had the other men, but the primary men, the top two, were who? King Masha and High Priest Ariah. All right, and it said, speaking about the oil represents what? The knowledge, right? And then, as a matter of fact, in Revelations, the 11th chapter, it goes into it too, is almost saying the same thing. So, and it was given me a reed like unto a rod, again, another measuring instrument, and the angel stood saying, almost reading the same thing, saying, rise and measure the temple of the Most High, which is what? The house of Israel. All right? Remember, it's howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands. All right? We're the temple. It said, in the altar and them that worship thereon. But the court which is without the temple leave out and measure it not. For it is given into the what? The Gentiles, the actual nations. All right? And the holy city, which is Israel, the holy city, which are the Israelites, because Israel is a people before it's a place. In the holy city shall they tread underfoot 40 and 2 months, which is the time period of us in slavery when when we went down and everything. They brought us over here in slave ships, that they were putting our names on it. They called them Judah and other different things, right? He said, and I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days clothed in sackcloth. So what's that talking about? When the Most High raised up the prophets, which, yes, you could go into the kingdom of the two kingdoms, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, but this is linking back again, which with Zerubbabel, it's the same thing we're reading. So this lets you know that Zerubbabel and Joshua are back here today. Okay, the Spirit always had them come back. And actually, guess who the Spirit got writing these things, writing this, man? Who's receiving this revelation? Okay, all right. So, but anyway, it's getting a little bit late. Well, matter of fact, I'll read on. I might as well finish it out. It says, and I answered, verse 12, Zechariah 4 and 12, and I answered again and said unto him, what be these two olive branches which through the two golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves? And he answered me and said, knowest thou not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. Then said he, these are the two anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth. You see? So that's a spiritual thing. That's the spirit the men of the Lord is gonna always come back teaching the word of the Most High. All right, that's never gonna change, man. Okay, but again, this was inspired by the video that this brother had, the brother Ahmawan Gabar, you know, that about a dream that he had, which, you know, you brothers don't know his page. This is his page, GMS Awakening 144 for the end. You know, spirit. This brother, of course, you be getting down through the spirit like the rest of the brothers. And you know, hopefully this was edifying. Salaki, I know it went longer than I thought. You know, kind of was jumping around, but you know, hey, that's, you know, it's a lot. I mean, even though those are two small chats, a lot of meat in it. And I still didn't even get all the meat off the bone. You know, spirit, you know, probably have other brothers go on it. Like I said, his brother touched on it. You know, he was speaking on it, you know, and I remember that day when King Mashah said that about the 3rd chapter, and right away from the apostles on down, we knew what that was, man. You know, and now we know that we're in that time. So, you know, won't be surprised. I'm not saying that, oh, tomorrow Ariad's going to be in GMS or whatever. I ain't saying all that. The Most High going to do it when the Most High is ready for it to happen. You know, just like the rest of the elect. Everybody comes in when the Most High wants you to come in. You know, and you just pray hopefully that you remain to the end. You see? But with that, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, say Kyle Lao, Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, and Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, Barakathum, to sincere Akim. Shalom.